Imagine, just for a second, that you have finally booked yourself a massage.
Oh, the best feeling.
Right. It's been a really long week. Your shoulders are practically up by your ears, and you are just desperate for some relief.
You need it.
So you walk into the treatment room, and you're expecting the usual setup. You know the drill.
Yeah, the Enya playing softly in the background.
Exactly. The scent of lavender oil diffusers
Mm.
puffing away in the corner. Maybe the therapist is warming up their hands with some lotion.
The standard safe spa experience. We all know it.
We do. But instead, you walk in, and the therapist is standing there holding a wooden hammer and a chisel.
That's a very different vibe.
It looks like a construction site. It literally looks like they are about to remodel your kitchen cabinets, not, your lower back.
I'd probably turn around and walk out.
Right. But here is the twist, and this is exactly why we are here today. You lie down, and instead of feeling like you are being demolished, you feel this rhythmic, deep vibration. And it somehow melts tension in a way that hands alone just can't touch.
It's a paradox. The tool looks aggressive, archaic even, but the result is deeply restorative,
Today, we are talking about Tok Sen.
which literally translates to hammering the energy lines.
We are taking a deep dive into the Tok Sen Manual by Leona Melendez and Manuel del Valle y Colon. And I have to say, before we even get into the wood and the hammering, the background of these authors really caught me off guard.
It's not what you'd expect.
Not at all. This isn't just a manual written by some casual enthusiast who picked up a stick in the woods.
No, you have this incredible convergence of worlds here. On one side, you have Luna Melendez. He's a licensed naturopath, a kinesiologist. He is deeply rooted in the holistic physiological side of how the body works. He understands the mechanics of the body from a very clinical perspective.
And then you have Manuel del Valle y Colon. And honestly, his resume reads like a character from a legal drama who suddenly had a spiritual awakening in, like, the third season.
It really does. I mean, look at the pedigree. A bachelor's from Princeton, a law degree from Yale, a master of laws from the University of London.
It's wild.
This is a high-level academic and legal mind. He's trained in argument, evidence, and strict structure.
And then he pivots. He goes to Chiang Mai and becomes a certified massage expert.
It's fascinating because it brings a level of analytical rigor to something that is usually treated as purely intuitive or even spiritual. Tok Sen is an ancient, somewhat mystical practice, and here you have a Yale lawyer dissecting it with the same precision he'd use on a contract.
That's what hooked me. The manual makes it clear right away that this isn't just about muscle manipulation. They describe the experience as a sonic and therapeutic journey.
A massage with sound.
Yes, and that is the key distinction we need to make early on. When we think of massage, Swedish, deep tissue, sports massage, we think of pressure.
We think of pushing.
Pushing, pulling, kneading.
It's a mechanical displacement of tissue. You are physically moving the meat of the body. Tok Sen is fundamentally different. It's about vibration. It's about rhythm.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We need to demystify how hitting the body with a wooden hammer can actually be relaxing.
And therapeutic.
Right. We need to understand the physics of it. And we're going to look at this fusion of anatomy, traditional Chinese medicine, and the Tai Lana tradition that the manual presents.
We are going to walk you through the actual protocol, the tools, the philosophy, and the map of the body so you can understand what is actually happening under that hammer.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's start with the name itself. You said it means hammering the energy lines. Break that down for us.
Sure. So TikTok is onomatopoeia.
Like the sound.
It's the sound the tool makes when it strikes. Tick tock, tack, tack. It literally means to hammer or to strike.
I love that the name is the sound. It's very literal. It's like naming a dog woof.
It is. It strips away the pretense entirely. And Sen refers to the energy lines or meridians. In the Thai tradition, the body isn't just meat and bone, it's threaded with pathways through which lom flows. Lom translates to yin or life force. If you are familiar with Chinese medicine, it's very similar to qi or qi, or prana in the Indian tradition. So Tok Sen is the mechanical application of rhythm to these vital pathways to keep the wind moving.
And this is specific to northern Thailand.
Right.
This isn't something you'd historically find in a standard spa in Bangkok.
Correct. It is deeply rooted in the Lana tradition of northern Thailand, specifically around Chiang Mai. It was developed by practitioners of Nuad Boran, or ancient massage, And the why behind its invention is actually incredibly practical.
I assume it wasn't just because they liked the sound or wanted to form a percussion band?
No, though the rhythm is very nice, it was about longevity for the healer.
Oh, interesting.
The manual points out that Tok Sen allows the therapist to work much deeper than fingers ever could, but with significantly less physical effort.
Saving the thumbs?
Exactly. If you've ever given a massage to someone for even 10 minutes, you know your hands get tired.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that for 6 hours a day for 30 years.
Mm.
Your joints would be destroyed. Tok Sen saves the therapist's joints while providing the recipient with a much deeper release. It's a tool of efficiency.
Let's talk about that depth. Because fingers are soft, wood is hard. But the manual implies it's not just the hardness, it's the vibration that does the actual work. They mention that this mechanical vibration tacks into the fascia and the muscles in a way static pressure just can't.
Think about it like this. If you have a really tight muscle, not in your shoulder, and I push on it with my thumb, what happens?
It hurts. And usually I tense up against it. My body tries to protect the sore spot.
Right. The muscle pushes back. It's a contest of force. You are fighting the armor the body has created.
Yeah.
But vibration travels through resistance. It's like a wave moving through water. When you strike the tool, that tap sends a resonance deep into the tissue. It bypasses the guarding reflex of the muscle.
So it tricks the body into letting go.
In a way, it signals the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, to kick in. The rhythm creates a hypnotic effect that allows the body to drop its defenses. You can't really tense up against a vibration that moves faster than your reaction time.
Which brings us to the tools themselves, because I assume you can't just grab a carpenter's hammer from the garage and go to town on someone's back.
Please, for the love of everything, do not do that. The tools are sacred in this tradition, and they are very specific. You need the right resonance.
The manual uses the term noble woods.
Yes. You don't use soft pine or plywood or anything cheap. These tools are traditionally made from hardwoods like tamarind, neem, or teak.
Hardwoods.
Very dense woods. These are chosen for their density, their durability, and, in the tradition, their energetic properties. They need to conduct sound, not dampen it.
And here's where it gets really interesting for me. The legend. I read this part 3 times because it sounds like something straight out of a fantasy novel. Tell us about the lightning.
It is a beautiful piece of lore. The legend says that the most powerful Tok Sen tools are made from a tamarind tree that has been struck by lightning.
Lightning wood.
Lightning wood. The belief is that the wood has been charged with the power of the heavens. It holds that electrical intensity, that raw power of nature, which is then transferred to the client during the healing session.
I just love that image. Even if you look at it purely metaphorically, it adds this profound layer of mysticism and reverence to what is physically just a wooden stick. It changes how you hold it. You're holding a piece of a storm.
Absolutely. It demands respect. It elevates the tool from a mere object to an instrument of power.
But let's look at the kit itself. It's not just one single hammer. It's a set of instruments.
Right. It's like a surgeon's kit. First, you have the hammer. It's the driver. It's what you use to strike the other tools. It usually has a unique shape, often curved, to allow for a consistent swinging rhythm.
Okay. And then you have the things being struck.
The most recognizable one is the wedge. It looks like a chisel or a peg. This is for precision. If you need to work a specific point or a tight line of fascia, you use the wedge. It focuses the vibration into a laser beam.
But then there's the cylindrical tool.
This one is fascinating because it changes the physics of the impact. The wedge focuses the energy. The cylinder disperses it. It creates a softer, more distributed vibration.
So it covers a wider area.
Yes. The manual suggests using this for sensitive clients or for integration when you want to smooth things out rather than break things up.
And then there's a round tool as well, which is just a thick rod.
Correct. That's for larger muscle groups where you want a duller thud rather than a sharp entry point. And maintenance is key here. The manual emphasizes that these tools must be respected. You check them for splinters before every single session.
This seems like a very important safety tip. You don't want to be scratching your client with your holy lightning wood.
No, definitely not. You are creating a safe container. A splinter would instantly ruin the relaxation. You often oil the tools as well to keep the wood from drying out and cracking. It's a real relationship you build with your tools.
Now, speaking of using the tools, there's a language to the hitting. This isn't just random drumming like a bongo. The manual defines a striking language.
It's a communication code. The practitioner isn't just doing something to the body, they are conversing with it.
So break down the code for us. How do you talk with a hammer?
It starts with one strike, That's listening or testing. You tap once, tick-tock, and then you pause. You are seeing how the tissue reacts. Does it recoil? Does it accept the vibration? Is it rock hard?
Okay. So it's a diagnostic tap, like checking a melon at the grocery store.
Exactly like that.
And if it feels okay.
Then you might move to 2 strikes. This is activation. You are inviting the tissue to release. You're knocking on the door, asking to come in. You're saying, hello, are you ready to move?
Yeah.
3 strikes is vibrational mobilization. This is the working phase. Tick, tock, tock. But the manual is very strict about this. You only use 3 strikes on warm receptive tissue, and you never, ever go beyond 3 strikes in one placement without moving or checking in.
The golden rule. Never force a response.
Exactly. If the body says no after 1 tap, if the muscle spasms or the client flinches, you don't hit it 2 more times harder. You listen. You back off. You move to a different area. It is a dialogue of pure respect.
This idea of listening brings us to the philosophy behind the practice. Because I think the danger with a tool-based therapy is that it just becomes mechanical. You're just a carpenter fixing a table leg. But the manual spends a lot of time on the spirit of the practice.
It does. And this is where the Buddhist roots of the Lana tradition really shine through. It grounds the practice in the 4 states of mind. You cannot effectively do this work if your mind is chaotic or aggressive.
These are the pillars of Buddhist philosophy, right?
Yes. Metta, karuna, mudita, and upekkha.
Let's walk through those briefly, because the manual implies that without these, you're literally just hitting someone with a stick.
Precisely there. Metta is loving kindness. It's the intention of goodwill. When you strike the tool, the vibration carries your intention. If your intention is metta, the vibration feels safe.
And karuna.
Karuna is compassion, specifically the desire to relieve suffering. You are acknowledging the client's pain and actively wishing for it to end.
And mudita.
Joy in others' good fortune. Being happy that they are healing, it's the opposite of jealousy. And finally, upekkha, or equanimity.
That seems hard.
It is, but it's crucial for a healer. It means helping without prejudice. You don't judge the body you're working on. You don't judge the tension. You are a neutral vessel for healing. You don't take on their pain, and you don't impose your ego.
It connects back to the mantra they start with, right? To Father Dr. Javaka.
Shivaya Komarpaj. In the Thai tradition, he is the father doctor, the personal physician to the Buddha. The mantra isn't just a ritual, it's a way of setting intention. You are inviting wisdom and nature's healing power into the space.
Like stepping out of your own way.
Exactly. You're acknowledging that you, the ego, the person holding the hammer, aren't really the one doing the healing. You're just facilitating it. It takes the pressure off the practitioner to be some kind of miracle worker.
And to facilitate it properly, you have to be breathing right. I found the Tok Sen breath exercise really interesting because it sets a specific rhythm before you even touch the client.
It's the inner hammer. Before you pick up the wooden hammer, you have to establish the rhythm inside yourself. The protocol is very specific. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2 counts, and exhale with sound for 6 counts.
Why the sound on the exhale?
The sound helps release tension in the practitioner's body. If you are tight, your strikes will be tight. If you are fluid, the vibration will be fluid. You are trying to ignite your inner rhythm so that when you touch the client, you are already in a state of flow. It synchronizes your nervous system so you can regulate theirs.
So you got your mindset, you've got your breath, you've got your lightning wood, but before you start tapping, the manual says you have to do a diagnosis. And not by looking at an MRI or an X-ray, but by touching the belly, the hara.
Hara diagnosis is central here. The hara, or abdomen, is considered the absolute center of the being, physically, energetically, and emotionally.
It's where everything happens.
Right. It's where we digest food, but also where we digest life. The manual describes a technique of gentle touch, sinking in only about 1 or 2 centimeters.
And the phrase they use is beautiful. I am listening, not doing.
That is the hardest thing for many practitioners to learn. We are trained to fix things. We see a problem, we immediately want to solve it. But here, you have to wait. You press gently and see what comes back to meet your fingers. You are asking the body, how are you doing right now?
And there are 2 main feedbacks you get, right? Jiu-jitsu and Kyo.
Yes. Jiu-jitsu is excess. It pushes back against your hand. The tissue feels firm, inflated, maybe even hard like a drum.
Like a tense muscle.
Exactly. This indicates anxiety, armor, or a buildup of energy that is stuck. It's like a balloon that's too full.
And the solution isn't to smash it with the hammer.
No, if you hit a tight balloon, it pops. The solution for jiu-jitsu is to soften and wait. You don't fight the armor, you encourage it to deflate naturally.
And Kyo, what does that feel like?
Kyo is deficiency. It collapses. It feels cold, empty, lifeless. The hand just sinks in with no resistance whatsoever.
That sounds concerning.
It indicates fatigue, grief, a deep lack of vitality. The solution here is to contain and hold, to offer support so the energy can build back up. You need to fill the cup, not empty it further.
And this isn't just random spots on the belly, right? There's a specific map they follow.
It's a very precise map. The area around the navel corresponds to the stomach and spleen. Below the sternum is the heart. The lower abdomen links to the kidneys and overall vitality.
So it's a proxy for the whole body.
Exactly. By palpating the belly, you get a weather report for the entire organ system. You know if the heart region feels hard and protected, or if the kidney region feels completely depleted.
So you've read the weather report, you know where the storms are. Now we have to talk about the roads the storm travels on, the Sen lines. This seems to be the core theoretical framework of the whole thing.
This is the absolute core of Thai medicine. The concept is that the body is threaded with invisible pathways carrying life force. If these get blocked, like a kink in a garden, hose pain and illness occur. Tok Sen is designed to unkink the hose using vibration.
Let's look at the big ones mentioned in the manual. Sen Sumana.
This is the central highway. It runs from the tip of the tongue all the way down to the solar plexus.
So right down the middle.
Right down the middle. It's comparable to the renmai or conception vessel in Chinese medicine. It's the axis of the body. If this is blocked, everything is off. It governs speech, swallowing, and the chest.
And then you have the sun and the mean lines.
Senitha and Sen Pinkala, it is the left, the moon, the feminine, the cooling energy. Pinkala is the right, the sun, the masculine, the heating energy. These run along the spine.
These feel very balanced, like a yin and yang concept.
They are. Imbalances here are often associated with back pain, headaches, and spinal issues. If your sun line is overactive, you might feel hot, angry, or have sharp pain. If the moon line is blocked, you might feel sluggish or cold.
There's one that sounds incredibly poetic in the translation, the bearer of time, Sen Kalathari.
Sen Kalathari is crucial for structural work. It connects the navel out to the fingers and toes. It's the flow.
The flow of what exactly?
Movement. If you have cold hands and feet, or paralysis, or even emotional blockages preventing you from moving forward or grasping life, this is the line you work on.
That's fascinating. So moving forward isn't just a psychological metaphor, it's a physical sensation in the legs governed by this line.
Exactly. The physical and the emotional are not separated in this system. They are one and the same. If you are afraid to take a step in life, your legs might physically tighten up along Sen Kalathari.
And the manual mentions lines for basically everything else too. Detoxification, sexual health, excretion.
Right. Sen Sahatsarangzi and Sen Thawari are the detoxification lines linked to the eyes and elimination. And Sen Kichana and Nanthakra deal with the reproductive and excretory systems. It's a complete wiring diagram of human function.
What I have found really smart about this manual is how they integrate this Thai system with traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM. Because sometimes people treat these ancient systems like they're conflicting religions that can't coexist.
The authors are very clear on this. These aren't competing systems at all. They are different languages telling the exact same story. They map perfectly onto each other.
Can you give us an example of that translation? How do they connect?
Sure. Take neck pain. In the Thai system, you might treat neck pain by working Sen Kalathari. In the manual, they point out that Sen Kalathari correlates exactly with the triple burner and gallbladder meridians in TCM.
Oh, wow.
Both systems agree on the pathway and the treatment. They just use different labels. It bridges the gap for practitioners who might know shiatsu but not Thai massage, or vice versa. It validates the universality of these anatomical observations.
So we've got the tools, the mindset, and the map.
Uh-huh.
Now let's get into the meat of the session, the full body protocol. I want to walk through this so you, the listener, can visualize what a session actually feels like from start to finish.
Yeah.
We start face down, prone position.
Yes. And immediately, there is a giant flashing warning sign.
The spine.
Never hammer the spine directly. It seems obvious, but it bears repeating. You are hammering the erector spinae muscles, the big, thick cables of muscle running alongside the spine, not the actual vertebrae themselves.
Hitting the vertebrae sounds incredibly dangerous.
It is. You could damage the bone, or worse, irritate the spinal nerves. You stay on the meat. The goal is to release the muscles that are pulling on the spine, not to bash the spine back into place.
What about the shoulder blades?
The scapular region is another danger zone. It requires high caution because the bone is thin and right near the surface. You don't want to be banging on the scapula. And the sacrum and coccyx, the tailbone, are absolute no-go zones for the hammer. There's barely any padding there.
So where do we go? Where do we start hammering?
The glutes are a major focus.
The glutes. Okay.
The manual suggests using the wedge or the hammer here. They target sen pincala and sen calathari, which aligns with the gallbladder meridian.
Why start with the glutes, though?
Because we sit all day. The hips are essentially the jump drawer of the body's tension. Everything accumulates right there. Releasing the glutes with that deep vibration can unlock the lower back and the legs. It's a major release point. And frankly, the glute muscles are thick enough to handle the stronger vibrations comfortably.
So from there, moving down to the legs, working the hamstrings and calves, this is where I imagine that cylindrical tool comes in handy.
Yes, especially if the calves are tight or sensitive. The cylindrical tool disperses the vibration so it feels like a rolling wave rather than a punch. It's great for tight hamstrings, where a sharp wedge might be way too intense. You tap down the lines, encouraging flow toward the feet.
Now the feet. The manual calls the feet a microcosm, and it explicitly warns that less is more.
The foot is highly neurosensitive. It's packed with thousands of nerve endings. You don't need to pound it. Gentle tapping here sends signals all the way up the leg. It's basically reflexology with a hammer.
I was absolutely fascinated by the specific meanings of the foot zones. The top of the foot, the dorsum, is linked to mental rigidity.
Yes. Tapping the top of the foot treats stress and mental stiffness. It grounds the energy downward. It helps get you out of your own head. If someone is overthinking or looping on a thought, you tap the top of their feet.
And the sole.
The map on the sole is incredibly detailed. The medial arch, the inside curve of the foot, is connected to the spleen, which governs digestion and worry.
Digestion and worry.
Yes. So if you're a chronic worrier, that arch might be very tender. You tap it gently to break up that cycle of worry.
And the outside. The lateral arch.
That's the gallbladder line. It holds anger and rigidity. And the heel relates to the kidney, which is your core vitality and aging process.
Even the toes have jobs in this system.
They do. The big toe connects to the liver and spleen. The little toe connects to the bladder. So when you are tapping the toes, you are literally tuning the internal organs. It sounds wild, but clients often report feeling strange sensations in their stomach while their feet are being worked on.
It's amazing. You're hitting a toe, but you're treating the liver. Okay, so let's flip the client over. Supine. Face up.
Now we are working the front of the body. The legs and groin are critical here. You're working the adductors, the inner thigh muscles, which correspond to sen itha.
The manual notes that the groin is a major gate for blood and energy.
And because it's a gate and a highly sensitive area, it requires extreme caution. You might use manual work here or very, very gentle tool use. You don't want to be aggressive near the femoral artery or the lymph nodes. You are trying to open the gate, not kick it down.
Moving up to the abdomen. We already did the hero diagnosis at the beginning, but now we're treating it.
Right, gentle tapping on the abdomen. Since the stomach is the emotional center, the vibration here can release deep-seated emotional knots. It's very powerful, but again, must be done with that listening touch. You are vibrating the organs themselves.
And the arms and hands, what lines run there?
This is where sen calathari really shines. It runs right down through the arms. Tapping the palms, specifically the pericardium point right in the center, connects directly to the heart and emotions. It's incredibly soothing for anxiety.
And then the fingers.
Tapping the fingers aids fine expression and mental clarity. It's like clearing the static out of your brain through your fingertips. It helps with dexterity, both physical and mental.
Now we come to the part that honestly scares me a little bit. The head and the face.
This is the advanced only section.
Big flashing red lights here.
Absolutely. The manual gives a strict, unequivocal warning. If you haven't been properly trained, do not do this. And if you are doing it, never use force. You are working directly on the skull.
So how do you hammer a face safely?
You use the cylindrical tool or sometimes just the wooden handle of the hammer itself. And it's not an impact, it's a vibration. It must feel like a hum, not a hit. You're barely touching the skin, just transferring the resonance into the bone.
And there are zones on the face too, just like the feet.
The forehead and eyebrows link to the bladder meridian. Tapping here helps with sinus issues and frontal headaches. The temples are gallbladder, great for tension, headaches, and migraines. And the jaw, the TMJ area.
Oh, the jaw. I hold so much tension there. I think most people do.
They definitely do. The manual says this area releases biting back words or stress tension. But you have to be so careful. You don't want to dislocate the jaw. You tap very gently along the masseter muscle.
What are the absolute no-goes on the face? Places you never touch.
Eyeballs, obviously. Do not hammer the eye.
Obviously.
Deep nasal cartilage, you don't want to break the nose. And teeth. You do not want to vibrate the teeth directly. That would be excruciating and severely damaging to the roots.
Good to know. Keep the hammer away from the teeth. Finally, the manual covers side-lying and seated positions. Why would you use these instead of just face up and face down?
Side-lying is the absolute best way to access the gallbladder channel running down the side of the hip and torso. It's about spirals, not straight lines. You can follow the natural curve of the body. It's also great for pregnant clients who can't lie on their stomach, though with other caveats we'll get to.
And seated. Why finish in a chair?
Seated is the integration phase. It's usually done at the very end. You work the shoulders, the trapezius, and the vibration travels downward through the spine, indirectly, of course, to ground the client. It's like putting the cap back on the bottle. It seals the session. It wakes them up gently so they aren't dizzy when they walk out of the room.
So we've gone through the whole body protocol, but we really need to talk about when not to do this. Safety first.
Safety is paramount. The rule of comfort is the baseline for everything. If it doesn't feel right to the client, you pause immediately. But there are very specific medical contraindications.
Pregnancy is a big one. You just mentioned side-lying, but there are rules.
First trimester is an absolute no. It's simply too stimulating. The vibration can disturb the implantation process, and generally extreme caution is advised throughout the entire pregnancy. You avoid the abdomen completely, and you have to avoid certain reflex points on the angles that can induce labor.
What about fractures or open wounds?
Obviously, don't hammer a broken bone or an open cut. You'll just cause more tissue damage and introduce some massive infection risk.
What about internal things, like pacemakers?
No. The mechanical vibration can actually interfere with the device, and the heart condition itself might be too unstable for the energetic shifts. You do not want to disrupt the heart's rhythm.
Active thrombosis. Blood clots.
This is critical. Potentially life-saving to know. Vibration could dislodge a clot, which could then move to the lungs or brain and be fatal. So, absolutely no Tok Sen if there's any risk of clots. If someone has a history of DVT, you steer clear of the legs entirely.
And varicose veins.
Never hammer directly over them. You can damage the fragile vessel walls even further. You can work around them carefully, but never on them.
And the final one, the bone rule.
Never hammer directly on bones, kneecaps, shins, elbows, spine. Unless you are using highly specific advanced soft techniques on the skull, you stay on the meat, the muscle, and fascia. Hitting bone hurts, and it causes deep bruising. It's not therapeutic at all.
So, zooming out, what does this all mean? We've got this ancient technique updated with a comprehensive manual from a Yale lawyer and a clinical naturopath.
I think the biggest takeaway is that Tok Sen is an experience, not just a physical technique. It creates a space for profound silence. It reconnects you to your body through rhythm. It basically reminds the body how to vibrate at a healthy, natural frequency.
We talked about physical release, the fascia and the muscles. We talked about energetic tuning, the sen lines. And we talked about emotional clearing through the HERA diagnosis.
It really covers all the bases of holistic health. And I just love the final thought on the tools themselves. It's simple wood, there's no electricity, no batteries to charge, just good vibes and clear intention. It's high-tech results with the most low-tech equipment imaginable.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me, thinking about the future of this kind of therapy. The source mentions that ancient healers understood referred pain long before modern science did.
Right. They knew that pain in the head could come from a blockage in the foot. They didn't need an MRI to see the connection. They felt it through the lines.
Tok Sen treats the pathway, not just the pain point. And it makes me wonder how many of our modern ailments are actually just echoes. How many chronic headaches are actually toe aches? How many back problems are actually stomach problems?
That's the beauty of looking at the body as an interconnected network rather than a collection of isolated parts. When you vibrate the line, you find the blockage wherever it is hiding. You might hit the shoulder and suddenly feel a massive release in the hip. It proves everything is deeply connected.
That is something to think about next time you reach for an aspirin. A quick reminder to our listeners, the authors of the manual are not offering medical advice, and neither are we. This deep dive is for educational purposes only. Please do not go build a hammer in your garage and start hitting your friends without proper training.
Definitely get trained by a professional. Respect the wood, respect the anatomy.
Respect the wood.
I like
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. It's been a very vibrating conversation.
it has.
Until next time, keep listening to your own rhythm.
And stay curious.
See you next time on The Deep Dive.